The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Division and dysfunction. You have more division in New York City, not just what's going on with the anti-Semitism, but this tax the rich political mantra. Now look, yes, politically, it's very easy. It's a real slam dunk, as the Knicks are showing. It's a real slam dunk for politicians to say, I'm against the rich. The millionaires tax, which has been proposed almost every year for decades. Why? Because 99% of the people support the millionaires tax. Because 99% of the people aren't millionaires. And they say, tax the millionaires. Yeah, that's a great idea. Don't tax me, tax them. It's gone further, where there's a hostility towards the rich. Not just tax the rich because we need the money. Tax the rich because we don't like the rich. We're hostile to the rich. We're socialists. No, we're not just socialists. We're communists. May Day in Washington Square Park. Mayor shows up, attends. We're communists. More division. Tax the rich. So they passed a pied-à-terre tax, which is just symbolism, by the way. It's not going to raise any real money. The pied-à-terre tax they've talked about for over a decade. They don't even know how to assess the value of a home that would be taxed. It was the symbolism. We're going to tax those rich people who don't live here. They have a second home, which is an expensive home, and we're going to tax them. It's not for the money. It was the political symbolism. But you know what? The rich hear what you're saying, and they are making the decision, the old expression, voting with their feet. I'm not going to stay in a place where you don't want me, and I'm not going to pay some of the highest taxes in the United States of America to be here, so I will leave. And you're seeing that happen more and more. You're seeing, by percentage, the number of millionaires increasing in Florida, in Texas, more so than in New York. So you want to tax the rich? You want to be hostile to the rich? You want to say, we're going to punish you for being rich? They will leave. And that's what Ken Griffin showed. Yes, a billionaire was pointed out, attacked. He said, I'll go to Miami. I'll go to the sunshine. The division is hurtful. And then you put the division together with the dysfunction. What is the government doing right now in New York City and New York State that is addressing any of the issues that we are facing? We have a city in crisis. We're losing people. We're losing revenue. That is a reality. What is the city government proposing to create jobs, to bring businesses back here? To be part of the AI revolution, to improve schools, to make the city safer. What is government doing that might make this place a better place? Besides saying, I'm going to raise your taxes. Raise my taxes for what? What are you delivering for me? And the dysfunction state budget is now 5 weeks late. Nobody even cares. Nobody even cares because nobody even expects functionality. 5 weeks late, and there's nothing on the agenda that's really going to make a significant difference for the state or the people of New York City. So 5 weeks late, and there's nothing that the government is proposing that is really going to make a difference. But yet, 5 weeks, they can't do the one constitutional requirement. Pass the budget by April 1. They couldn't do it. And there's no real response to the crisis. An expert on this and many other topics, and a friend, Governor David Paterson, joins us now.
Well, good afternoon, Governor, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I'm sitting here scintillated by your remarks, Governor, and I particularly have to just tell you how important it was that you started this discussion with what's going on in terms of the anti-Semitism that we're feeling all around the city, all around the state, and the open, brazen demonstrations of it. You know, it's one thing when people feel that, you know, behind your back because you're Jewish, they don't like you, because you're Irish, they don't like you. But these are open rallies and protests. And what is it that they're protesting? Because the Jewish communities, like every other community, they have some people that are in high places and some who aren't. But they do have a right to live in this country, and we do have a right to protect people and all of their rights in this country. And it feels to me like the whole thing is falling apart. Yeah.
You know, Gov, I'm with you 100% on that issue. Later on in the show, I'm going to have Rabbi Mark Goldfeder, who raises an interesting topic. A mayor can have political opinions, but what happens when a mayor crosses the line and his or her political opinions become government policy, and the government policy violates civil rights or is discriminatory? In other words, during the Park East Synagogue, which was really a violent, ugly protest.
Horrible situation.
Horrible. During the protest, the mayor of New York says he believes, he expresses his opinion, which is basically he's pro-Palestinian, and says what was going on in the synagogue, which was a forum promoting people buying real estate in Israel, he disagreed with it and basically was supporting the position of the protesters while the protest was going on. Now, Rabbi Goldfeder, and we'll talk about it, raises legal issues, but just morally, you're the leader of the city. You are there to bring people together, to bring down tensions, to unite, not divide. And that's part of what is fueling it. I don't think this mayor is doing anything to heal. If anything, I think he is feeding the flames of division.
Every once in a while, like for about 10 minutes, he did say a couple of weeks ago that the police, when they intervened in one of the marches, were not violent and were not threatening to arrest anybody. But he thinks he can drop one of these, little salvos every once in a while, and then the rest of the time, he might as well be the leader of the demonstrations based on some of the things that he said. And the way he chided Ken Griffin standing in front of his house, and as Griffin pointed out, it was that he had outed him. Not many people ever knew who Ken Griffin was, but not many people knew who the head of the hostile organization was until he was gunned down 2 years ago. And so you have this situation where there's this kind of, what I think it really comes from, Governor, is resentment. People really resent the ability of other people, the success of other people. They even resent the passion of other people. And unfortunately, some of our youngest and probably most able individuals who we hope will inherit government responsibility and how to run the trains and that kind of thing from us will divert their attention from that sort of appealing rhetoric, but which is nothing but anti-Semitic and basically hateful out of its existence.
100%. And look, anti-Semitism is one issue. This hostility towards the rich, the Ken Griffin analogy, you and I both know we need rich people in New York, that the 95% of the revenue that we raise is coming from rich people. And they are leaving, and they are leaving quickly. And yes, I get the far left argument, tax the rich. And Albany passes a pied-à-terre tax, which you considered, I considered, but we didn't do it because it wasn't worth the money. There's no real way of determining what's a $5 million home. What are you going to use, the assessed value, which you'd have to reassess all the properties? And they say 500 million. I don't believe it. If it's 200-300 million, look at what it's costing you.
That would be about where I think it would be, Governor, 200 or 300 billion.
Yeah. And is it worth it in this environment where the rich are already leaving? So you're going to score some political points and pander to the left and pander to Mamdani by saying pied-à-terre tax, because we're going to really stick it to the rich.
It's, sometimes I shake my head and wonder, am I really living in this time period? Because this has happened very quickly. The mayor only took office on January 1st. Here we are. The Albany budget is 40 days late as of today, and he has been part of that negotiation, but yet the only things you hear coming out of these discussions are negative. And then even some of the people doing the negotiating are starting to lash out at each other, which is a really bad thing when it happens. And, I remember the budgets where you were governor and the ones where I was governor. You really wish you could get everybody out of Albany before they killed each other.
Well, look, the governor has to be the governor. The governor is not, I get kumbaya, we're going to be cooperative. But you were a legislative leader, then you became a governor. There's only one CEO. And when the expression lonely at the top, you're the governor, you have to make the decision. George Pataki went to the Court of Appeals. The governor is the constructor of the budget. The legislature is the critic of the budget, but the governor is the constructor.
I guess we have to give him credit, Governor, because he did that before either of us came into office. But you took what he did for a touchdown. And remember, I vetoed all the items in the budget by bill. I don't know, there's like 400 of them. And I did it because I wanted to show the people of the state that the governor was not afraid of the legislature or anyone else.
100%. And I applauded you. The transition you had to make from being the legislative leader to then the governor and standing up to the legislature. But you had to, if you were going to become a strong governor, which our Constitution is premised upon. That's why Pataki won the case at the Court of Appeals. It is a strong governor system. And you are the one person who was supposed to be watching the entire state and looking out for the entire state. And yes, you want to be congenial and cooperative, but you have to be the governor. And sometimes that's a lonely place to be. And you stepped up and you led, and you led through a crisis. We need that leadership now.
Well, I'll tell you, unfortunately, it almost appears as if the governor is one of three. majority leader of the Senate, the Speaker of the Assembly, and the governor. And I think over the years, the governor's role has been perceived to have diminished from what it was before. Now, when I first came to Albany in 1985 in a special election, I met the governor, who happened to be your father. After about 2 or 3 meetings with him, I was afraid to walk near his office. He knew how to do it, and it's great to see that others following him have, taken advantage of some of the thinking that went into how he set his budgets up so they wouldn't go too late. But you couldn't be more right. If there isn't one leader, then it's chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're so right. When George Pataki went to the Court of Appeals, I remember him saying, "This isn't about me. This is about the Constitution and the governors to follow. And the governor has to have the power. And it has been diminished. And we're paying the price." We're going to have to take a break. Governor Paterson, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
You have an happy Mother's Day. And tell everyone I said enjoy the day. And the Knicks 110, Philadelphia 75. Wow.
77 WABC and Bergen Newbridge Medical Center honor the life of legendary broadcaster and our friend, Ernie Anastas.
Hi, it's Ernie Anastas. You know, your thoughts can affect how you feel. Bergen Newbridge Medical Center is the largest hospital in New Jersey, providing comprehensive, equitable, compassionate, and high-quality emergency inpatient and outpatient medical care, plus mental health services and substance use disorder treatment. The Bergen Newbridge team can address your total health needs in one convenient location. Call 201-225-7130 for an appointment or newbridgehealth.org.